Have you ever spoken, yet felt unheard, as if your words vanished into thin air, leaving no trace on those around you? Many believe speaking louder or saying more will earn respect. But the truth is this: respect isn't given to those who demand it. It's given to those who embody it. The Stoics understood this well. They knew true influence doesn't come from force, but from wisdom, restraint, and presence. When you speak with clarity, purpose, and confidence, without excess or desperation, people listen. So why is it that some individuals can captivate a room with just a few words, while others struggle to hold attention? The answer isn't in what they say, but how they say it. In today's video, we'll explore timeless Stoic principles that will elevate the way you communicate, so that when you speak, people stop and pay attention. If you're ready to sharpen your words and strengthen your presence, stay with me. And if you find value in this, support the channel with a like, a comment, or a subscription. Now let's begin. 1. Eliminate the "I'm sorry" habit. Words shape perception. The way you speak influences how others see you and how you see yourself. One of the most subtle but damaging habits that erodes respect is over-apologizing. You may not even realize how often you do it. But every unnecessary "I'm sorry" chips away at your presence, making you seem hesitant, uncertain, and even unworthy of attention. Imagine this. You walk into a meeting 2 minutes late. The first words out of your mouth? "Sorry, I'm late." Instantly, you've positioned yourself as the problem, as if your very presence requires justification. But does it? Life happens. Traffic, back-to-back meetings, unexpected delays. Instead, try saying, "Thanks for waiting." One signals guilt, the other signals control. Or picture another scenario. You're walking through a crowded hallway and someone bumps into you. Without thinking, you blurt, "Oh, sorry." But why? Why are you apologizing for existing in a shared space? Every unnecessary apology sends a subtle message, not just to others, but to yourself. I am an inconvenience. And the more you reinforce that belief, the more others will treat you that way. This habit seeps into emails, texts, and daily conversations. "Sorry to bother you, but..." "Sorry, just checking in." "Sorry, can I ask a question?" These may feel polite, but they broadcast self-doubt. And when you constantly frame your words as an intrusion, people subconsciously begin to treat them as such. I used to fall into this trap myself. I remember sitting in a meeting where someone interrupted me mid-sentence. Without thinking, I stopped and said, "Oh, sorry, go ahead." The moment those words left my mouth, it hit me. I was apologizing for being interrupted. Why was I making myself smaller? That was my turning point. From then on, I made a conscious effort to break the habit. Here's a simple rule. Before you say "I'm sorry," ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? If the answer is no, reframe your words. Instead of "sorry for bothering you," say, "Do you have a moment?" Instead of "sorry, can I add something?" say, "I'd like to add something." These small shifts make a big difference. They don't just remove unnecessary apologies, they transform how people perceive you. And here's the hidden danger of apologizing too often. It creates an expectation that you're always at fault. Over time, it conditions others to believe you'll accept blame, yield space, and shoulder extra burdens. Maybe it starts with someone speaking over you. Then it grows into colleagues assuming you'll always take on extra tasks. Before long, your time, your energy, and your boundaries are consistently disregarded. Let's say a co-worker hands you a last-minute task, expecting you to handle it. If your default response is, "Oh, sorry, I'll try to fit this in," you've set a precedent that your work is less important than theirs. Instead, say, "I won't be able to take this on right now." Let's find another solution. No apology, no unnecessary justification, just clarity and confidence. The same applies socially. How many times have you agreed to plans you didn't want, simply because you felt bad saying no? A friend invites you to an event, and you reply, "Sorry, I can't make it." But why apologize for prioritizing your time? A stronger response would be, "I won't be able to make it, but I hope you have a great time." No guilt, no excuses, just honesty. Of course, there are moments when an apology is necessary. When you've genuinely hurt someone or made a mistake, taking responsibility is strength, not weakness. The key is intentionality, apologizing when it matters, not by reflex. If you want to break this habit, start small. Challenge yourself to go one full day without saying, "I'm sorry," unless it's truly warranted. Keep track of moments when you feel the urge and ask if there's a better way to phrase it. With practice, it becomes natural to speak with clarity and confidence. Because if you want others to respect you, it starts with how you carry yourself. Eliminating unnecessary apologies isn't just about words, it's about self-perception. The moment you stop apologizing for things that don't require it, you'll notice a shift. People will listen more, they'll take your words seriously, and they'll begin treating you with the respect you deserve. Now that we've tackled over-apologizing, let's move to another crucial principle: setting boundaries and sticking to them. 2. Set boundaries and stick to them. Epictetus once wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you want others to respect you, you must first respect yourself. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by setting boundaries and enforcing them. People treat you the way you allow them to. If you don't define your limits, others will define them for you. We've all been there. You say yes when you mean no, just to avoid conflict. You let someone overstep because you don't want to seem rude. You take on extra work because saying no feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. When you don't set boundaries, you're not being kind. You're being a doormat. Think about the last time you agreed to something you didn't want to do. Maybe you stayed late at work because a co-worker didn't finish their task. Maybe you answered late-night messages when you desperately needed rest. Maybe you listened to someone vent while ignoring your own exhaustion. In that moment, you weren't valuing yourself. You were prioritizing their comfort at your expense. I used to do this constantly. I remember once, a friend asked me to help them move. My weekend was already packed, but I said yes out of guilt. The moment I agreed, I regretted it. I spent the weekend exhausted and frustrated, not at them, but at myself. Why? Because I had the power to say no, and I didn't use it. That was the moment something clicked. Every time I said yes to something I didn't want to do, I was saying no to something I did value: my time, my energy, my priorities. From that day on, I made a rule. If it's not a true yes, it's a no. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you constantly communicate that your needs don't matter, people will believe it. But when you stand firm, people notice. They recognize you operate from strength, and they respect it. Start small. If a friend invites you out and you don't want to go, don't say, "I'd love to, but I have so much to do." Instead, just say, "I'm staying in tonight." No justification, no guilt. Boundaries are like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger they become. The more you use boundaries, the stronger they become. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time you'll realize something important. The people who truly respect you will respect your boundaries. Those who don't, they never respected you in the first place. Now that you understand the power of boundaries, let's move on to the next essential skill: mastering the art of pausing. 3. Master the art of pausing. Seneca once wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through suffering, yet most people fear it. The moment a gap appears in conversation, they scramble to fill it, rambling, over-explaining, speaking too quickly, all in an attempt to appear confident." Ironically, this habit weakens the impact of their words. If you want people to really listen, to respect what you say, you must learn to pause. In today's world, quick responses are often mistaken for intelligence. Many believe that talking faster makes them seem smarter. But the truth is, words without pause lose weight. They blur together, fading into background noise rather than something worth remembering. The human brain isn't wired to absorb a non-stop flood of rapid information. It needs space to process, reflect, and respond. That's why pausing is powerful. Imagine you're in a meeting presenting an idea. You rush through your points, eager to sound competent. By the end, no one seems fully engaged. Now imagine another approach. You speak with measured confidence. You make a key point, then pause. You let it land. You resist the urge to fill the silence and allow it to do its work. Suddenly, the room leans in. People absorb your words. They listen. Some of the greatest speakers in history, Winston Churchill, Barack Obama, mastered this technique. They knew silence isn't empty. It's a tool. It creates emphasis, tension, and authority. I learned this lesson the hard way. Early in my career, I thought proving my intelligence meant speaking as much as possible. I interrupted myself, over-explained, and filled every gap with words. After one chaotic presentation, my manager pulled me aside and said, "You have great ideas, but you don't give people time to absorb them." That was my wake-up call. The next time I spoke in a meeting, I slowed down. After each key point, I paused. At first, it felt strange, almost like I'd forgotten my lines. But then something incredible happened. People paid more attention, not less. They leaned in. They processed my words. Someone even told me afterward, that was really impactful. Every word felt like it mattered. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Think before you speak, but when the moment comes to act, do not hesitate." Pausing is not hesitation, it is precision. It says, "I trust my words to stand on their own." It signals confidence, not insecurity. And this doesn't just apply to public speaking. Think about arguments. When someone raises their voice, the instinct is to react instantly. But what happens when you don't? When you pause instead? That silence forces the other person to think. It shifts the power dynamic. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond deliberately. Instantly, you become the more composed, respected voice in the room. Pausing also transforms everyday conversations. The next time someone asks you a question, resist the urge to answer right away. Take a second, think, then respond. That subtle shift makes you seem more thoughtful, deliberate, the kind of person others naturally respect. Here's a simple exercise. In your next conversation, casual or formal, pause after each key point. Let the silence work for you. At first it will feel uncomfortable, but soon you'll notice the effect. People will lean in. They'll listen closer. Mastering the art of pausing isn't just about speaking. It's about control. It's about knowing your words have value. And that silence isn't something to fear, but something to own. Now that we've explored the power of the pause, let's move on to the next skill: using humor wisely, without losing credibility. 4. Use humor without becoming a clown. Seneca once wrote, "Laughter should not be abundant, nor should it be absent." There is a time for everything. Humor is a powerful tool. It can break tension, build connections, and even make you seem more intelligent. Research shows people who use humor well are often perceived as more competent and likable. But here's the danger. If misused, humor can destroy your credibility faster than almost anything else. There's a thin line between being witty and being the person no one takes seriously. If every time you speak you turn everything into a joke, eventually people will see you as exactly that, a joke. Respect isn't given to the one who entertains constantly, but to the one who knows when to be serious and when to lighten the moment. Have you ever been in a meeting where someone kept cracking jokes? At first, people laughed, but over time, their words lost weight. No one saw them as a leader, just comic relief. Early in my career, I made this same mistake. I leaned on humor to mask my nerves. I'd crack a joke whenever I felt uncertain, thinking it made me more likable. And yes, people laughed, but they didn't take me seriously. One day, during a team meeting, I joked about being there just to make spreadsheets look pretty. Afterward, my manager pulled me aside and said, "You're better than that. Don't make yourself the punchline." That was my wake-up call. So how do you use humor in a way that builds respect rather than destroys it? First, understand the purpose of your humor. Is it to ease tension, make a point memorable, or build camaraderie? If the only goal is to get a laugh, it's probably not worth saying. Second, avoid excessive self-deprecation. A touch of humility makes you relatable, but constant self-mockery erodes credibility. Instead of saying, "I have no idea what I'm doing," reframe it. "This is a learning experience, and I'm figuring it out." One makes you seem incompetent. The other shows adaptability and confidence. Third, read the room. Not every joke fits every situation. Sarcasm can come off as arrogant. Dark humor can be inappropriate in a professional setting. Before you speak, ask, will this add value or will it distract? Marcus Aurelius advised, "Let your words be few and well considered." Humor should serve a purpose, not dominate the message. Timing is also critical. The best humor is spontaneous but controlled. Drop it strategically, when it can shift the energy, relieve tension, or highlight a point. A well-timed remark from a leader shows composure, not desperation for attention. And finally, don't use humor as a shield. If you're uncomfortable, you don't need to hide behind a joke. Sometimes the most powerful move is to pause, collect yourself, and speak with intention. The bottom line, humor is a tool, not a crutch. Use it to elevate your message, not replace it. Master this balance, and people won't just laugh with you, they'll respect you. Now that you understand the role of humor, let's move to something even more crucial: eliminating gossip from your speech. 5. Drop the gossip. Epictetus once said, If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, if maintaining your integrity means stepping away from gossip, so be it. Nothing destroys respect faster than gossip. The moment people realize you talk about others behind their backs, they stop trusting you. Because if you'll gossip about one person, what's stopping you from doing the same to them? Gossip is tempting. It feels like a shortcut to bonding, a way to feel important by sharing inside knowledge. But in reality, it makes you look untrustworthy, insecure, and weak. Think about the people who command the most respect. They're not the ones whispering in corners. They're the ones who speak with integrity, who don't waste time tearing others down. I learned this the hard way. For a while, I got caught up in office gossip. It wasn't malicious, just little comments about co-workers' habits or personal lives. I thought it was harmless, until one day I overheard my own name in a hushed conversation. That's when it hit me. If they were gossiping about me, I was no different from them. From that moment, I made a choice. I wouldn't engage in gossip, period. And people noticed. They began to see me as someone they could trust, someone who didn't need to put others down to feel important. That earns far more respect than any fleeting sense of belonging gossip provides. So how do you stop? First, recognize it. Gossip isn't always obvious. It often disguises itself as concern, curiosity, or venting. But the rule is simple. If you're talking about someone who isn't present in a way that doesn't help them, it's gossip. Second, redirect. If someone starts gossiping, you don't have to confront them aggressively. Just steer the conversation. I'd rather not talk about that. What else is going on? Or, that's their business. I hope they're doing okay. These responses send a clear message. You're not interested. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one instead of indulging in gossip. Focus on your own growth, your goals, your character." At the end of the day, gossip might give you a momentary sense of importance, but it erodes trust in the long run. If you want to be respected, speak with integrity. Refuse to engage in drama. Keep your words aligned with what truly matters. Now that we've uncovered why gossip is a respect killer, let's finish with the final step. Knowing when to stop talking. 6. Know when to stop talking. Epictetus once wrote, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in unimportant matters." In other words, wisdom isn't about saying more, it's about knowing when to say less. Many people aren't taken seriously because they talk too much. It's an uncomfortable truth, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. We've all seen it. The person who keeps explaining long after the point was made. The one who dominates conversations, unaware they're losing their audience. The one who fills every silence, as though quiet moments are dangerous. But here's the reality. The more you talk, the less impact your words carry. I used to struggle with this. I thought persuasion meant giving as much detail as possible. I over-explained, repeated myself, and rushed to fill every pause. Then one day, after a long-winded presentation, my boss told me, "You had them in the first 30 seconds, but then you lost them." That moment changed everything. Talking too much often comes from insecurity, the fear that if we stop speaking, we'll be ignored or misunderstood. But true confidence isn't in endless words, it's in precision. The most respected people don't ramble. They speak with clarity. They trust their words. They understand that silence is not their enemy. It's their ally. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless it brings some benefit." The same principle applies to speech. Don't waste words unless they bring value. Don't waste words that serve no purpose. Here's how to fix this. First, become aware of your tendencies. Do you repeat yourself? Over-explain? Feel uneasy with silence? Awareness is the first step to change. Second, practice the pause. Make your point, then stop. Let it sit. Let people process. It may feel awkward at first, but over time you'll realize silence makes your words more powerful, not less. Third, trim the excess. Before speaking, ask yourself, what's the shortest, clearest way to say this? The best communicators say just enough, no more, no less. This is especially important in high-stakes situations. Imagine negotiating a salary. You state your number, then silence. The instinct is to justify, to keep talking. But the smartest move is to say it, then stop. Let the other person process. The same applies to arguments, interviews, even daily conversations. When you stop talking at the right moment, people listen more, take you more seriously, and respect you more. Now that we've covered all 6 principles, let's wrap this up with a final thought on what it truly means to command respect in every conversation. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you earn through the way you carry yourself, speak, and engage with others. It's not about being the loudest or the smartest in the room. It's about presence, self-respect, and intentional communication. By eliminating unnecessary apologies, you project confidence. By setting boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. By mastering the pause, your words gain impact. By using humor wisely, you protect your credibility. By refusing to gossip, you build trust. And by knowing when to stop talking, your words carry real weight. Apply these principles, and you'll notice a shift. People will listen more, take you seriously, and, most importantly, you'll begin to see yourself differently. Now tell me, which principle do you need most? Comment below. Speak with confidence. If this video brought you value, like it, subscribe for more insights, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Speak with confidence. Own your space. Never shrink yourself for anyone. More powerful lessons are coming soon. Stay tuned.